Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take a look at an interview of the two Warning audio engineers. That would be Lalo and Jatniel. I actually have never seen Jatniel's name before, so I'm probably horribly messing up the pronunciation on it. Is it Jatniel? Jatniel? Somebody tell me, please, because I'd like to get that right. He's the monitor engineer. Okay, so he's the one that takes care of the monitors, and Lalo is the one that takes care of the mains, the front of house engineer. So he's the one whose work you hear when you go to a concert and you hear the stuff coming out of the speakers. That's Lalo. So there was just an interview that dropped on the channel muSiK by Jeremy and Jillian. And let me see what they say here. Jeremy is a multidisciplinary audio professional with over a decade of experience as an audio engineer for some of the world's top productions, like the Grammys. Loves to compose, produce, and mix original music. Earlier in life, he was a progressive death metal guitarist. All right. But secretly wants to be a drummer. Yeah, who doesn't, right? Jillian, also known as Ninja, is Jeremy's beautiful wife who joined for a couple of videos. Now fans won't let her leave. She's got an impressive business background and is the brains behind the operation. Okay, they have very different perspectives on music, so we're going to go ahead and see what they have to ask and talk about with Lalo and Jatniel. Oh, God, that's going to bother me now. Somebody's got to tell me how to pronounce his name. It looks like it already has captions, so I'm not going to turn any captions on as I watch this. If that turns out to be incorrect, I will go back and start over. But I don't think that's the case. So this just dropped on March 19. So as you're seeing this, it's been maybe 5-6 days. Well, we'll see when I actually get this up. It's been recent. So let's go ahead and check this out.
¿Chilequiles rojo o verde?
Rojo.
Verdes. Happy Warning Wednesday!
Hey,
What is
right.
up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My Warning Army fans, you guys, look who we got here. We've got Lalo and Jatniel.
Jatniel.
This is the monitor engineer and front of house engineer for Las Wawas, and I'm so excited that you guys had the time to sit with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. And first of all, congrats on 2 amazing sold out shows already. It was amazing. So what did it feel like to play the Auditorio Nacional for 2 nights sold out already? Well, how does it feel now to have that behind you?
Es muy sorprendente ver el upgrade que ha tenido la banda. Yo tengo 5 años trabajando con ellas y cada que hacemos cosas en México, que no hacemos tantas cosas en México, siempre es un paso y un paso y un paso. El Auditorio Nacional es un venue muy importante en México y probablemente en Latinoamérica, y no es nada fácil hacer un sold out. Y lo más sorprendente ahora para nosotros como organización es que se hicieron 3 en la misma corrida.
That is
entonces
amazing. That is so cool.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
Yo, esta es mi segunda vez en el Auditorio Nacional. La vez anterior yo creo que fue hace como 7 años. Yo soy de Monterrey, de donde son las niñas también. Y también he visto como su crecimiento. Venía trabajando con ellas indirectamente, pero hasta el año pasado me integré con ellas. Lo mismo, el saber que en 1 hora se vendió hizo soldado el primer auditorio, y luego el segundo, y luego sacaron la tercera fecha. Es como, wow, increíble.
That's amazing. And I can't be any more proud of you guys. You know, it's been amazing to watch. We've been here only, a year and a half, knowing about the Warning, and we've seen this growth, and we're just so proud and happy for you guys, especially to do this in Mexico.
Yeah, thanks.
So what were your...
Before he continues, yeah, we've had the same experience. We've only been following the Warning since last January, so 14, 15 months at this point. And we have noticed kind of their status go up immeasurably. I mean, I'm sure it helped to put out an album that did really well. Yeah, it's a phenomenon, and we're watching it in real time, and it's so impressive.
Your favorite parts of these past two shows? Did you have anything where this was just the best part of the night?
Para mí es muy sorprendente cómo se va armando. Ahorita no tengo una parte específica, pero siento que el momento en donde el kabuki se proyecta y está la gente a la expectativa, empiezan a tocar y se les aparece, eso
Yeah, that was a big
creo
moment.
que esa parte ahorita es la que a mí más me impacta.
Ok, sí, a mí igual. Ese nervio de está el intro, entran las chicas al escenario y faltan 30 segundos para que empiece la canción y se está proyectando la imagen y de repente empiezan con, ¿cuál es? Six Feet Deep.
Sí, es
Yeah.
Y el kabuki sale y empieza y la gente... Y es de que ya empezó.
Yeah. I've heard from a lot of fans that said that was a big moment. You know, the anticipation that's building up. Essentially, it was 404, I think, that was playing. Maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure. But it was music that was meant to pull you in and kind of be a little bit mysterious and dark. And then they had these crazy images up there. Like, what is that? You know, it looked like something on the molecular level. And then suddenly it turns into this person figure behind, you know, silhouette behind the screen. Anyway, yeah, big moment. Good, great drama to start a show for sure.
Both,
Yeah, sorry.
Amazing. It was amazing. Jatniel, how did you get started with The Warning? You said you've been with them for 1 year?
Yo conozco al grupo, yo creo que hace, antes de que entraras tú,
Sí, como
6, 7 años. He trabajado indirectamente con ellas, dándoles como servicio de rentas de backline o ese tipo de cosas. Yo estaba en otros proyectos trabajando, algunos otros grupos, y Rudy habla conmigo el 2022 y me dice, vente para acá. Pero yo tenía un compromiso, no podía simplemente dejarlo. El 23 tuve otro compromiso y hasta el 24 que decidí regresarme a rock porque estaba muy alejado del rock. Hablé con Rudy y me dijo, vente, vamos a hablar. Eso fue en marzo del año pasado. Y desde marzo hasta la fecha me integré ya oficialmente con el grupo.
It's kind of like you, where The Warning wanted you to work with them, but you were with Sabino?
Yes, así.
And you couldn't do that, but then the COVID happened, and then you had the chance. So it's kind of the same, almost the same kind of way, right?
Creo que una de las características que tenemos Daniel y yo es que cuando, como se dice en México, nos ponemos la camisa con el proyecto, le apostamos a ese proyecto y no estamos buscando en otros proyectos. Sí podemos hacerlo por cuando no tenemos trabajo con The Warning, pero esa creo que ha sido una característica que nos ha valido la visión de Luis de decir, necesito ese compromiso, quiero que estén con nosotros. Creo que eso es lo que ha valido también mucho.
I love that. And
Yeah, I've had that thought on their whole crew. They seem deeply dedicated. And it sounds like it is. You make a big commitment to the band. As he says, you wear them proudly on your shirts. Yeah. And that's huge. That helps so much, I'm sure, in keeping things efficient in the organization, among other advantages.
we got to meet Luis also in Pomona. Yeah, and I saw him standing by you and talking about different things. He would talk to you about the board or something. So Luis knows what he's doing with audio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that helps you then, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's great. I was wondering about that because, you know, I'm an audio engineer too, and I know what it's like when somebody's over your shoulder saying, do this, do that. But if you have a good relationship, that's awesome.
Sí, la relación que tenemos, Luis y yo, en cuanto a la mezcla, tiene que ver con el hecho de que Luis es ingeniero, pero nunca le ha gustado mezclar. pero entiende perfectamente cómo quiere que suene y cómo quiere que se plasme ese diseño acústico de la banda. Entonces, cuando yo entro de Warning, lo que aporto es mi expertise en hacerlo sonar en los venues, pero claro, Luis me dice, no me funciona muy bien esto, hagamos esto, y lo empezamos a probar. Lo mismo nos pasa con Beto Ramos. O sea, Beto Ramos en estos shows también me está ayudando a entender cuál es el panorama o a representar el mejor panorama acústico para ustedes. Y creo que llegamos a ese punto.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it really helps, I'm sure, that the person who's overseeing the whole organization, Luis, really has direct experience in creating sound since he had a successful studio before he had his daughters. So that makes sense. And the sound is great at the shows. I've been to one so far, and it sounded beautiful. I do wear earplugs at the shows, but they tend to turn the volume down instead of just stifling the high. So I could appreciate how great things sounded there. So you go around from venue to venue, and of course, they're all a different shape. They've got different stuff on the walls. The ceiling is a little higher here or there. You know, the back wall is closer, further away. And of course, those characteristics change in every room between when it's an empty room and when it's packed with fans. So you got to be on your toes to be able to do what Lalo does in particular, just because the conditions are always different. So you kind of have to make adjustments every time, every single gig. And he's very, very good at that, as we've seen.
Because, you know, if Luis can communicate what he hears or what he wants to hear, and you know exactly how to make it happen, perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I love to hear that. Back to Jatniel. What kind of mixes are the girls hearing in their ears? Like, does Danny want more of Pau, less of Ale? Like, how do their ears mixes sound?
A la mezcla de las tres es... La mezcla de Paulina es la más completa, pero su instrumento está arriba. Su instrumento y su voz está más arriba. Es un tema que tenemos Lalo y yo, porque ella usa un micrófono de diadema, algo sensible, y a veces se nos contamina algo de la batería y tenemos
Of course.
Jugando. Tenemos que estar jugando.
Yes.
Alejandra es su voz, su bajo.
El click.
Las tres son el click. El click tiene que estar arriba, las tres. Es un instrumento, su voz, la batería un poco ahí pintada, y lo demás casi nada. Alejandra es la que pide menos. Dani es su voz, click, guitarra y lo demás también.
Makes sense.
Ahí
Yeah.
pintadito. Paulina es la que sí quiere pues, como baterista, quiere tener la batería presente y todo lo demás más parejito. Yo diría que Paulina usa una mezcla un poquito más pareja en todo el input list.
Y más elaborada, ¿no?
Sí.
So Ale doesn't have much of Danny?
No.
I don't want to hear Danny. No. You guys don't put any of the audience in their ears?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was one of the cool things, was hearing everybody, oh, and see, goosebumps. It was amazing, and I really wish that they heard that. So I didn't know they have the audience.
Yo tengo un micrófono ambiental en el centro del escenario que es estéreo. De ellos pueden escuchar como esa estereofonía de la gente. Cuando van a empezar, yo tengo el ambiente. Ellas van entrando y escuchan a la gente. Empiezan a tocarlo bajo. Cada que termina una canción les doy ambiente. O en esos pedazos donde hacen a la gente cantar, les doy ambiente. Y todo el tiempo estoy dándoles el ambiente y bajándolo.
They're always riding the faders.
Yeah.
Always. Now that you guys are playing these really big...
Yeah, so it's a very active situation when you're doing this type of work, this type of sound work. And you can see why. I mean, it's important. And it makes perfect sense to me that everybody's up a little bit louder in their own mixes, what they're doing, because they have to hear clearly, the most clearly, what they're playing. You don't want to get lost in that mix. That's where your in-ear monitors fail a lot of people, is they can't hear themselves in the mix. So that's good. And yeah, maybe she doesn't have Danny in there because she can hear Danny just fine through her amp. I mean, I'm sure it's not, same thing with the drums. I mean, the drums are right there. Even in a big place, if you're playing the drums and you're close to the drums, yeah, you can generally hear, for the most part, what's going on. I don't know about Argentina, but generally that's how it goes. So yeah, so it's an active job. They're not just, setting everything up before the show and then, going back like this and watching the show. No. No, you have to pay attention to every second of the show to do a truly excellent job, which is what they do.
Big arenas, do you find it easier to get the sound you want because these arenas are more capable with like the big line arrays? Is it easier to get the sounds that you want in these arenas rather than the smaller clubs?
No, yo creo que cada show tiene su complejidad. Cuando trabajamos en arenas, para mí es mucho más fácil porque tengo un mayor equipo, tengo un mayor headroom, puedo hacer más cosas. Depende de la arena, la acústica de la arena es lo que tengo que corregir o que tengo que ecualizar, pero en cuanto a producción, para mí es más fácil porque tienes ese recurso. En los venues más pequeños, muchas veces tienes que ajustar como Pomona.
Of course.
Es un buen sonido, pero era mucha gente. Y llega un punto en el que el mismo equipo ya no te da ese punch, ¿no? Yo creo que cada venue es diferente y pues depende de ti la forma en cómo lo resuelvas, ¿no? En ese sentido creo que Jatniel también está con los in-ears está más protegido porque siempre va a sonar de la misma manera. Pero sí se ha topado con venues que tienen un rebote, like a delay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Y se escucha y eso es así como, ¿qué está pasando? Entonces, cada venue es diferente. Sí, nada más es eso.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. When the sound is bouncing off the back wall and coming back, you're like, what? How am I going to correct for this? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the monitor mix is not as big a deal because that sound is not bouncing off the walls, the different walls in every location that they play. And yeah, I could see where it would be easier in the arenas. But even if they have those arrays that Jeremy mentioned, you still have to balance everything. And I mean, you still have to work with them. So it's not necessarily easier. It's just a different task.
The rig for Pomona, it's really good. But I think it's a lot of people. And the equipment...
It's not enough.
Or not exactly.
Yeah, you have to like push everything just to get anything to be what you want. The small room, yeah, I can understand that. This is a very big production. When we saw you in Pomona, rock and roll show, right? Like awesome, what it should be. And then this was like, oh my God, the production was crazy. How long does that take to set up?
Creo que esta parte de pantallas visuales, Spider Cam, todo eso, luces, tiene más complejidad en su montaje.
Mucho.
Y ellos duraron desde 2 de la mañana hasta 5, 6 de la tarde, terminando todo. Nuestro montaje de la parte de audio realmente es muy similar al de Pomona. Es prácticamente lo mismo. Entonces, en nuestra área nosotros debemos de estar tardando 2 horas, pero en el conjunto fueron 10, 12 horas aproximadamente.
Okay, that sounds about right. Because I do the same thing, so 10 hours, yeah.
All the problems are with the lights and video. Always.
Yeah, always video. And
no, I get it. You saw how complicated that production was, in those February shows. I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't just have the music on click. You also have all of that, but it's got to work right, and there's going to be issues for whatever reason. Yeah, nothing ever works exactly the same as it did the last time.
The thing is, video guys and the lighting guys don't like the audio guys. Always. Like, come on.
You're in my way.
Okay, so when you guys are touring around the world, do you find it difficult communicating technical terms in other languages in other countries?
For me, not really in the technical aspects. Mostly countries speak English. My problem is I don't speak English very well.
You speak pretty good.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I don't think so, but I try. But on the technical aspect, it's the same around the world.
Yeah.
When you're working with people that know audio, pretty much I can understand what you want from me if you ask me something. So it's not so difficult.
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. You, Jack? I think it's the same.
Que es lo mismo. El lenguaje técnico es el mismo. El tema ya es elaborar una conversación de cualquier otra cosa y es donde estamos en Italia. No hablo italiano.
My problem is
Francia no hablo francés.
Yeah.
my grammatical
Voulez-vous?
in Mexico and in Spanish is completely different. and I put the articles and verbs in English is
Yes.
Spanglish.
and it's crazy.
And
yeah,
it's
I
the
think
same.
this is my real issue with the English.
Is just not knowing which word goes first or last. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. And I'm the same with Spanish and
Yeah,
German.
same.
I can say a couple of words, but it's wrong. But you might understand me, So
I understand a lot of English. I think 80%.
Oh, good,
But no
it's hard to say that.
speaking. Yeah.
Same. Okay. So aside from your mixing boards, what would you say is the most essential tool for you guys?
Buena pregunta. Tú primero.
Daniel first, nah.
Voy a ser breve. Yo no uso tanto proceso en mi mix,
Good.
porque de entrada traemos una muy buena consola con buenos preamps, muy buena microfonía, el backline está excelente. Realmente tenemos una cadena tan buena de audio.
Just to mention, if you have good preamps, then you have less noise in your mix, in your signal coming from that channel. Because what it allows is for the signal to come in much louder without the accompanying extra shh or whatever it takes to actually jack the signal up. If they're good preamps, then they don't add any sound or interference at all. So that's always what you want if you're a touring band. Good preamps is essential to good sound.
Claro.
Mis procesos son sencillos, filtros, compresiones muy suaves. A Daniela le gusta mucho sentir efecto en su voz, en ir un efecto grande, y eso la hace sentir como muy
Mighty Danny.
confortada al momento de cantar y muy segura, porque hace como que abra ese cuarto, ¿no? El efecto. Entonces,
¿Dice como reverb?
sí, yo le pongo un reverb. A Paulina también y a Alejandra, pero como Daniela es la que canta más, y ella sí siempre quiere sentir esa como confortabilidad de tener ese efecto. Entonces, no uso muchos procesos porque de entrada todo me lo entrega bien. La calidad del backline,
las fuentes sonoras, sí.
de las fuentes sonoras están muy bien. Y realmente no uso muchas cosas. Hay muchas cosas que hago manuales, lo que todo el tiempo. A Daniela a veces le tengo que poner o quitar más guitarra, a Paulina su voz, los ambientes. Eso sí, todo el show estoy haciendo muchos movimientos. ¿Tú, Lalo?
Yo tampoco uso tanto proceso. Soy un ingeniero de la vieja escuela, old school. Not
yeah.
exactly. Not en esa época que yo empecé a trabajar en audio no existían los recursos que existen ahora. Si tenías efectos, podías insertar esos efectos a 3, 4 cosas. Si tenías gates o compresores, también era 3, 4 cosas. Ahora puedes insertar gates, compresores a todo, puedes hacer subgrupos, puedes hacer matrix, puedes hacer bla, 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 bla.
Sí, sí, sí.
Yo en lo personal mezclo a partir de lo que me entrega la fuente sonora y trato de que eso genere esa dinámica en el grupo, en el sonido.
I can hear that too.
Y sí estoy usando algunos efectos, algunos procesos que me ayuden a enriquecer esa mezcla, no tanto a procesarla, sino a enriquecerla. Eso es todo, básicamente. Creo que va a estar largo ahora, hermano.
You have a lot to say. You mentioned about processing on the board, and you don't use a lot of processing. And I wanted to ask, Danny, all of the girls have amazing vocals.
Yeah.
But almost everyone in the industry has some kind of tuning on in post-production. Is there any live tuning?
No.
No, nothing. No auto-tune, no nothing.
Rock and roll.
Yes,
You know what? I have never mentioned this, probably because I've never heard autotune in their live mixes. So, yeah, they don't use autotune. They don't need it. I know that there are some artists that are clearly excellent singers and they use some autotune just for the effect. I actually don't like that at all. I don't see a need. Yes, okay, it can be an artistic choice, but I just do not like it. I haven't liked autotune since I first heard Cher using it on Do You Believe? So I knew they weren't using it, but it's very nice to see Lalo confirming, that's right, we don't use autotune. Rock and roll.
love that. I love that. I've heard some people ask sometimes.
The only process we use, it's an FX.
Okay.
Delays, reverbs.
And that's it.
That's it.
See, I love you guys more and more because sometimes people get too complicated and then you lose the feel. You lose everything, you know? And this is all feeling. So I love to hear that. About how many backing tracks are being played while they're playing?
We have 8 channels, beats, guitars, and vocals.
And then effects?
Yeah, embeds, sound effects. And a lot of songs, they have a duplicate guitars.
Yeah.
And we'll have another guitar.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if I don't put this backing tracks, that's the songs.
Yeah.
Right,
sound
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
gotcha.
have to have
Doesn't sound
some
right.
guitar backing
But
tracks.
En realidad, no usamos tantos backing tracks. Es solamente cubrir
Yeah.
esos espacios que le dan esa identidad a la canción y ya. A diferencia del disco que sí utiliza muchas cosas.
I noticed that.
Right. You can do whatever you want on the album, you know. But yeah, I've noticed that they tend to be sparing. I mean, sometimes there are a number of backing tracks going on. Like Hell You Call a Dream, I think, is one where there's a number of them. But they don't do more than they need to. They don't rely on them to carry the song. It's just important to have them there so that the song sounds basically the same, you know, as people would come to expect. And it's really just a matter of not having the personnel up on stage to carry out those sounds. And I think artistically, that is a perfectly valid choice. And I see a lot of bands doing it. I don't have a problem with it, so long as it's not carrying the entire group, which is definitely not the case with The Warning. They are playing the vast majority of the song and have put in the work to show that they are amazing musicians who can take on this responsibility.
I don't remember what song. Maybe it was when Danny was playing the solo. There was a song where you heard the guitar, but then she was playing something else. I was like, okay, so because there's not another guitar player, you have to. And
I actually thought that she was using a loop.
I did too. I thought she was looping it at first, and I looked. I'm like, well, I don't know that she's looping it. I bet that's a track. So
Yeah.
sounded great. What are you constantly looking out for once the show starts? Do you mostly set things up during the first few songs and then kind of cruise for the rest of the time? Or is it constantly always having to chase everything?
Yo no muevo nada de procesamiento durante el show, solo estoy controlando volúmenes de envío. Eso es lo único.
Makes
Rara
sense.
vez muevo algún ecualizador o algún efecto. Todo es cuestión de volúmenes a sus mezclas. Es lo único.
So
your
once it
sound is
starts,
set up.
it's pretty easy. You get your main mix and then it's just minor things for the rest of the show.
Y en mi caso,
Yo creo que Lalo, yo creo que tú decías
sí,
diferente.
en mi caso, sí ajusto. Con Beto Ramos he aprendido a trabajar mucho el diseño acústico canción por canción. Entonces sí hacemos algunos cambios. Hay canciones que en el lugar la señal de Kemper nos llega muy alta en high frequencies.
Gotta adjust
Entonces
those.
tengo que ajustar y luego regresar esas frecuencias. Lo mismo pasa con el bajo. La batería es como un poco más estable, pero sí tengo que apoyar, por ejemplo, a Paulina porque está cansada y entonces le doy un poco para que se sienta. Yo sí muevo muchas cosas, pero tampoco es que cambie procesos.
So do you have
Actually, I find that really interesting that he gives Pau a little bit of a hand, probably towards the end of a show. Just inches the drums up a little bit so she doesn't have to hit quite as hard. That's smart, actually, and that's being right on things too.
do you have notes for each song? So when it's the next song, you have a set of notes where you're like, okay, this part at 1 minute or this part at 3 minutes, or is it all in your head?
I am a school man.
Oh, it's cool. you know what you're doing. You just listen and you do what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
that.
De hecho, Jatniel y todo el crew se enojan conmigo porque no me gusta utilizar radio, porque yo estoy concentrado en lo mío. Entonces, todo el tiempo me dicen, usa tu radio, usa tu radio, usa tu radio. I'm a school man.
Lalo,
Yeah,
who's a
old school. I
radio?
love the old school. Now, this one is from my drummer, who is the drummer for Sharks, on our Sharks cover, and he
Oh,
wanted to
man.
know, what is the secret
gotta watch
to
that.
getting a monster kick and snare sound?
Paulina.
That's a great answer. There's nothing with EQ, compression. It's just the gear and how she
Yeah,
plays.
you gotta-
Depends the venue,
Yeah.
The venue, right.
right? But the punch, it's wow.
It's like what people say guitar tone is in the fingers. So it's kind of like the same thing.
Ella toca, las tres tocan increíble. Tú me decías de Al en el bajo, que se escuchaba increíble. Yo lo único que hago es que amplifico esas señales y ajusto, depende de la acústica del lugar. Pero todo viene de allá. Todo lo entregan ellas así. Entonces, no hay secretos, no hay realmente
No hay
nada.
triggers.
No hay triggers, no hay triggers. Todo el punch del bombo y de la tarola es Paulina.
Wow. You hear that, Matt? You better start playing like Powell.
It's the case with all three of them. These are expert musicians. Don't be fooled. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've worked on their sound for years. I mean, it's not just the playing; it's also paying attention to the sound. Of course, all those little details that go into your playing, all the subtleties, they come out like this. I think that's why they're so important. You know, you don't want to rely on the sound guy. You don't want anybody in your band ever saying, well, he'll just turn me up here and it'll be fine. No. You want to have all that control right there in your fingers, whether it's this way or this whatever. That's the way to do it. Put it on yourself as a musician. Make the sound engineer's job as easy as possible.
Yeah. This question comes from our amazing mastering engineer, Fernando. Okay. Are there any new technologies you may have seen or been really excited about? Like, for example, the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
They have this new, really immersive,
you imagine seeing them there?
dynamic PA system where, like, almost like Dolby Atmos, where things are just all over the place. Is there any kind of crazy new stuff that gets you excited?
Yeah, it's excited because it's new. I don't know if I feel comfortable to mix with this technology and live sound. Really, I like to try. Why not?
It would be fun,
Yeah, but,
right?
Yeah.
For me, it's not an issue, but it's a lot of difficult that adapt to the new technologies. Yesterday, I talked with a friend about it. We need right now. We need learn to build the network to work with the new equipments.
Like Maddie or something, or Dante or something.
Dante, waves.
It's so complicated.
It's complicated for me because I only plug and unplug cables.
Right.
You know?
Yes, I know. But it's complicated, but it's also helped make things easier because
yeah.
copper wires are heavy, and now it's just one cable and you have 200 channels.
It's a very huge advance, but for me, I don't know how I build the network.
Routing and
The sound.
it's very
It's
complicated.
very complicated for me. I can do.
It's just a learning curve.
No, it's not easy for me.
You have
But
to
yeah.
really learn
Exactly.
and always practice it, because otherwise it's like
Exactly. Very interesting how works the new equipments with that technology.
Trying to mix in the sphere has got to be an interesting new challenge because now it's a 360 sound. Before, you're really just looking at the stage, and for the most part, most of the sound is coming back from the stage and in that general direction. You know, with the sphere, it's everywhere. Now, I know Pink Floyd used to do quad, back in the early 70s, and other bands. I think possibly the Grateful Dead did it as well. But it's a different thing. I mean, a sphere, okay, so is it going to be 4 points? Is it going to be 8? Is it going to be 16? How do you mix that with everybody in the entire building in mind? And it sounds like it is possible, but it's just a learning thing. It's a learning curve. It's a new thing that you have to conquer. It's helpful to be a sound man already, for sure, but you're going to have to put some time in to really understand how best to work with that space. So I get it. I get exactly what he's talking about. I would be a little intimidated too, but I would love to try it.
Jatniel used a lot of networks for the in-ears, for the mics, even the console, right?
Punto.
any new technologies that you
That's the word.
like, or do you like everything the way it is?
Yo uso solamente los recursos de la consola. Aparte de hacer el tema de mezclar, también hago la coordinación de las frecuencias inalámbricas por medio de Warbench, que es un programa de Shure. Me toca grabar a veces por medio de Dante, directo ya sea Logic. Últimamente he estado grabando en Ableton Live. Entonces sí tengo el tema de la consola, la computadora de coordinación de mis frecuencias y monitoreo de las frecuencias, la computadora de grabación. Entonces en algún punto estoy dándole volúmenes a todas y viendo que toda mi microfonía inalámbrica esté correcta, que la grabación esté grabando. Entonces, y aparte observando a las chicas todo el tiempo, ¿verdad? Pero sí hay más cosas que lo que decía Lalo, que necesitamos meternos más a esa red para poder estar conectados todo en una red, tanto audio como las consolas, como todo el sistema inalámbrico en una misma red, que eso es lo complicado.
Y en la parte de Jatniel hay cosas muy interesantes como el sincronizar los micrófonos sin tener que quitarlo y sincronizarlo. Eso tecnológicamente está increíble.
O sea, ¿cómo hace la sincronización de los micros del escenario? O sea, el micro de Dani y de Ale, así para que no se estén como peleando ellas las señales.
Con la coordinación que hace Jatniel.
Ah, ok.
Shure tiene un sistema que tiene un aparato que se llama Showlink. Ese sistema es como si fuera un pequeño módem con antenitas que se comunica con todos tanto los bodies como los micrófonos, y por medio de ese show link y el Spectrum Manager, que es una maravilla, yo puedo mandar inalámbricamente y a cambio de frecuencias a cada uno de los aparatos sin tener que hacerlo como la vieja escuela de meterte y agarrarlo y sincronízalo otra vez. Entonces es una gran ventaja esa tecnología. Yo estoy a favor de esa tecnología.
So not all things old school are
The
good.
spectrum in the frequencies.
Yeah.
So all the time you can see how it's working.
Even other equipment who made transmitter with RF in the spectrum area, Jatniel can see, oh, okay, this is not good, and I change and synchronize.
And it's nice when you can see it, because then you don't have to be like, oh, that's 7.8K. No, I can see that right here. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay. So both of you, can you guys share your best experience on tour? What was the best time you had?
Madrid.
Any tour, not just the warning, just any tour. Madrid. What happened in Madrid?
Yeah. Okay. Yo he tenido muchas. Creo que las que más me han enriquecido es con The Warning, por la magnitud y todo lo que se ha hecho. Pero específicamente lo que dice Jatniel es que el año pasado en Madrid tocamos en un festival que se llama
Mad Cool.
Mad Cool, yeah.
Pero previo al festival, nosotros teníamos un espacio en un escenario que no era el principal. Y por alguna razón canceló una banda que tocaba en el principal. Y Rudy pichó para que nos cambiaran al escenario grande, el escenario principal. Todo estaba bien hasta que cuando hacemos nuestro loading,
Oh, yeah. I
nuestra
heard about
consola no
this.
prendió. Doesn't works. Entonces, en lo que resolvíamos de qué manera podíamos hacer el show, se nos estaba acabando el tiempo y yo tomé la decisión de intentarlo con las consolas de casa, con todo lo del festival. Luis no estaba tan de acuerdo, pero teníamos que hacerlo, teníamos que resolverlo. Hablé con Jatniel, le pregunté, oye, ¿está esta consola? ¿La has usado? Me dijo, sí, pero no bien. Le dije, ¿lo puedes hacer? Y me dijo, pues va. Hablé con Agui y con Iván, que es nuestro drum tech, y les dije, quiten todo de lo nuestro, vamos a lo de casa, y pues va el show.
So just so it's clear, one console is not just like the other by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, any number of things can be completely different. So it's a big deal and a big disruption if you have to make a call like that. But it all worked out, apparently. So, hey, they're professionals. They worked it out. So, but yeah, that would be anxiety inducing to say the least. I'm glad it all worked out, though.
Rock and roll. Entonces, creo que esa es la experiencia que hemos tenido, que para mí es la experiencia que más nos ha consolidado como team, porque se resolvió y se resolvió muy bien.
In 1 hour.
En 1 hora. Entonces,
Nice.
incluso la gente del festival me decía, ¿cómo puedes estar tan tranquilo si no sabes qué va a pasar? It's what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey, man, when you get right down to it, sound engineering is the same act. It's just, okay, now you've got a different device that you've got to work with. And a complicated one at that, very likely. A lot of the basics are always the same. You know, you'll have a channel, it'll have a volume, it'll have a pan, most likely, unless it's a mono mix. And, you know, EQs and sends. And yeah, but the thing is, you know, especially in an hour, that may be all they really did with it. I mean, they just did what they needed to do. Very, very possibly. I would like to know what the date was on this tour that they're talking about. I'm assuming it was from last year, since it sounds like Jatniel was there. Jatniel, is that it? Okay. I'm listening to how they're pronouncing his name. It sounds like Jeremy started with Jatniel, and then ever since his opening statement, it's been Jatniel. So, but yeah, let me know the date, or if it was the one from last year, because I'd like to go back and listen more carefully to that show now.
So is the same story for you?
Yeah.
That was it. Oh my God, that's amazing. Just a couple of fun questions before we end. Nothing really to do with audio anymore. So, what do you guys do for fun?
Rest.
Eat. I feel you.
When we are on touring, we try to hanging all a little bit, knows new places, museums or shopping centers or wherever we can
Just hanging out.
yeah, only hanging out. When I stay in the house, I hanging with my sons
Okay.
and
Just hang with the family. That's
Yeah.
it. Just live life.
yeah, with the family and I really appreciate now the rest.
Yeah.
Time to rest.
Yeah, because you're always go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Long hours all the time. So when you have free time, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This,
Also,
and this,
still taking your favorite pantalones.
Your favorite band.
That's the danger.
He's gonna come home, he'll wash them. That's great. How about you?
A mí me gusta mucho la montaña, el bosque. Cada que puedo, que tengo tiempo, me gusta ir a relajarme, hacer hiking. Me gusta mucho subir montañas, hacer ejercicio, conectarme con la naturaleza y despejarme un poco como de este sistema que se mueve muy, muy rápido. Realmente eso es algo que me gusta hacer mucho. Incluso estando en las giras.
lo hemos hecho, ¿verdad?
Lo hemos hecho. Hicimos hiking en Austria,
Nice.
en Suiza.
Oh, yeah. The Swiss Alps are beautiful.
Sí, en los
So
días.
Lalo wants to rest and you want to hike.
But I know, man.
Hey, I feel you. What are your favorite places and why? Like around the world, do you have a favorite country or city that you've gone to?
For me, Austria, Switzerland, Canada.
In Canada. Okay, the cold places.
Yeah, I like the cold places.
For me, maybe Germany.
Yeah. Again, another cold place, huh? Europe.
Berlin is amazing. Nice. It's very beautiful.
That's awesome. I love that. I don't know what I was expecting, but those places are beautiful. We do the same. We travel a lot too, and I lived in Switzerland, so it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and Santiago de Chile, incredible.
Okay, so
I'd
I
like to
know that
check
you
out
are a
Santiago.
metalhead, old school metalhead, right? You came from metal. That's me too. Big time metal. What's your favorite metal band?
Wow. I don't like the metal. I don't like metal.
You were a metalhead.
No, man. No. I really love reggae and war music.
I thought you were a metalhead.
It's
Some
a
bad
surprise.
intel, I guess.
He laughed because he knows that. He knows that. Por cuestiones de trabajo, siempre he trabajado con el metal y con el rock. Lo que a mí me gusta escuchar es reggae, es música del mundo. Eso es lo que yo consumo. Escucho de todo, pero eso es lo que yo consumo. Y eso es lo que puedo poner todo el día.
Okay.
Las tres bandas que más me han impactado a mí de metal, la primera vez que me tocó trabajar con Moonspell,
Oh, Moonspell.
increíble.
Wow.
Increíble.
Moonspell's amazing.
Sí. Después me invitaron a trabajar en un festival, bueno, en varios festivales con Max Cavalera,
Oh, yeah. Soulfly, Sepultura. Yep.
Soulfly. También se me hizo increíble. Y la última banda que me impactó muchísimo fue donde toca el baterista que era de Sepultura, ¿cómo se llama? Slipknot.
Oh, Slipknot, Eloy. Oh, that guy. A monster on the drums.
It's a monster. Sí.
Have you seen El Estepario Siberiano?
Nah.
No. Oh my God, that
El
guy.
español, es español. Güey, toca con una mano la canción que quiere.
What's your favorite bands?
I listen a lot of Dirty Loops. You know Dirty Loops? I love
Dirty Loops.
Yeah,
Shout out to all our loop heads out there.
I love Dirty
Henrik.
Loops. Yeah. All the three
all
guys
three.
are awesome. Falling in Reverse.
Yes.
I love Falling in Reverse. And De Hueco Band, you know. De Hueco, it's a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a band. So son tres estilos completamente diferentes, pero en mi repertorio tengo como que ese abanico de bandas diferentes. Podrían ser mis tres bandas favoritas.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
Okay. ¿Chilequiles rojo o verde?
Rojo.
Verdes.
There you go.
O divorciados.
Divorciados.
No,
Sí, a
no,
mí sí
yo
me gustan.
rojos. Con mucho queso.
I guess it's
Thank you very much for taking the time to sit and talk with us and letting us pick your brains about what it's like to tour with The Warning and everything like that. It's really been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, my brother. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in the future, anytime. This was just absolutely amazing. I can't even tell you guys how cool this was. And the shows that we saw the last 2 nights have been phenomenal. And I hope you guys enjoyed this interview and got a little bit of insight and learned something. If you liked it, please make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. It means the world to us. And we'll see you guys next time, my friends. Peace.
All right. Well, that was really cool and really informative. And I learned a lot about both Lalo and Jatniel, who I actually did not even know of his existence. I wasn't sure who was doing the monitors. So good to know about his role in the band as well. There are some things I need to look up now, particularly from Shure. I have to look up Showlink and Workbench, both mentioned by Jatniel, as tools for the monitoring. And then maybe I'll take another look at some of the bands that were mentioned by these guys in the end, including by Lalo, Slipknot, Soulfly, Moonspell, and then Jatniel mentioned Dirty Loops and Falling in Reverse, and I missed the last one. Maybe I'll go back and take a look. But just interesting to see what they're listening to, you know, what their own tastes are. Always interesting. I got a really good laugh out of Lalo saying, no, I don't like metal at all. Just reggae, which is cool. Reggae is cool. I'll be honest, I don't know much about reggae other than the Marley family, Bob, Stephen, the Congos, Jimmy Cliff, the whole Harder They Come soundtrack. Fantastic. If you've never heard it, that's a great place to start for reggae. But beyond that, I'm pretty much still a newbie, you know, many, many years into listening to this select reggae. So, got anything you want to suggest to me just for my own personal listening offline, please do so. But that was a great, very informative interview. It must have happened somewhere between February 8 and February 10. A lot of it was just confirmation of what I suspected regarding Lalo's job anyway, because that's what I can hear. We can never hear the monitor mixes up for ourselves. Or I wonder, you know, sometimes every once in a while you'll find a monitor mix online, like in YouTube somewhere. If there's anything like that out there for any of the Warning shows, that might be an interesting thing. Let me know about it. But I don't know of the existence of anything like that right now. But yeah, it'd be interesting, you know, even though I know it would be 3 separate mixes. But Lalo has always struck me as somebody doing an excellent job just by virtue of the fact that the sound is always incredible. I mean, it's pretty high fidelity in general, and I mean, it sounds good from here. I've only attended 1 show so far, soon to be 2, but I think that he does an excellent job. He's clearly invested in what he's doing. So thank you so much for those of you that suggested this. It was really fun to listen to and to become better informed on the 2 of these guys. And we're going to subscribe to Jeremy and Jillian. And in the meantime, if you have any thoughts that you thought got past me, by all means, leave them below. Let me know what your general thoughts were on the whole thing. If you have other suggestions for me, please leave those as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining me on this, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.